Welcome to Strange Occurrences, part of the Riche Collective, a weekly collection of the strange, the macabre, the weird, and other stories. I am Rose Stone, also known as Ms. Riche Life on all the socials, Pinterest, TikTok, and Instagram. And if you are tuning in, this is live streamed on TikTok tonight. And I am talking the strange occurrence of how Generation X got their music for next to nothing. And I'm not talking about Napster. I'm not talking about LimeWire. I am talking about good old fashioned Columbia House. And if you're looking behind me, you can see that I have a portion of the ad that's up. And it's telling us we get like 13 CDs for $1, and right behind me, any 3 8-track cartridges for $5.95. So if you don't know what an 8-track is, if you're unfamiliar with that, an 8-track played 8 songs only, and it kind of looked like an old Nintendo game, like the original Nintendo games, but they were slightly slimmer and longer. And you could put them into your car. The 8-track players, a lot of cars before they had even cassette players, had 8-track players and ashtrays and cigarette car lighters. And then it went to cassette players. And then when CD players came out and you didn't have a CD player, there was a little cassette player that you could plug into the cassette and play your CDs. So that's what brings us to Columbia House. Now, you can actually date Columbia House records back to the 1950s. And on the pre-recorded podcast, I will give the entire history of Columbia House. But it was the 1950s, so it's been around quite a while. And I would like to now bring you some of these CDs. Now, this collection has been with me for roughly 30 years, probably more, because I began it maybe in the late 80s. No. That would have still been cassettes. I did have Columbia House cassettes. None of those exist anymore. I do have one cassette. I'm going to show you guys this. Hold on. Where is it? Where to go? Okay, this was very special to me. So, back in the day, I was not allowed to listen to certain music. So, I think it was Columbia House, and I bought some music I wasn't supposed to listen to. It is Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. I don't know what song it's on, so if you're watching live, you can see maybe that it's been played, but you can also, maybe you can see that you can actually read every single word on side 1 and side 2 because I took such good care of it because I wasn't supposed to have it. So it was like a little treasure for me, this Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction cassette. There, that's my one remaining cassette tape. I used to have this mixtape that my cousin gave me that she made from her friend, and so on and so on and so on. It had so many amazing songs, and it was warped. By the time I was done with it, all the songs were playing slightly slower. And by the time I got rid of my Saturn, the gold Saturn that had the cassette player in it, that cassette was gone. And I'm still slightly heartbroken over it, I'll tell you. I'll show you what else I have. I still have my beeper. Does anyone remember the beeper? Well, I still have this. I think it was called Smart Beep, and it was something like $2 a month, but you could only get a message once. It wouldn't replay your messages. So, yeah, there's my beeper. I think I had my Palm Pilot. Oh my God, I have my Palm Pilot. This is like not 90s. This is like early 2000s, but I have my Palm Pilot. Oh, this is my BlackBerry. Even better. I loved the BlackBerry. Can we bring the BlackBerry back? That's amazing. So that's my little box of treasures from the 80s, 90s, and early aughts here. I love it. So let's get to the unboxing of a couple of CDs. So if you have anything to add about the CD that I'm talking about, favorite song, if you saw them in concert, favorite band, whatever it is, type it in. Let's have a chat. All right. This is maybe a third of the collection that I brought upstairs. I couldn't pick the whole box up, so this is going to go on at least for two parts, maybe three. It depends. It depends on what we're going to get through in the next, who knows? Who knows how long this is going to last? So let me pick up the first one. All right. The first CD is Live Secret Samadhi. So on this album, we've got Rattlesnake, Keeney's Juice, Grays, Century, Ghost, Unsheathed, Insomnia, and The Hole in the Universe, Turn My Head, Hero Psycho Dreamer, Freaks, America, and Gashead Goes West. So, does anybody have this album? Has anybody listened to this a lot? I haven't heard this in so long that I don't have a ton of memories about this one. So, all right, next. This is one of my absolute favorites. I remember ordering this. I remember, you could only get like 13 of them, and there were hundreds, and you had to sit there, and I would take forever and ever to pick through. And one of the ones that I picked was the Eurythmics Greatest Hits, and it's a little damaged, the case. It's got a small crack in it, if you can see there live, just a small crack. And this has Sweet Dreams, When Tomorrow Comes, Here Comes the Rain Again, Who's That Girl, Would I Lie to You, Sisters Are Doing It for Themselves, There Must Be an Angel, Missionary Man, Don't Ask Me Why, I Need a Man, Love is a Stranger, Thorn in My Side, and The King and Queen of America, and Angel. The Eurythmics. How many Eurythmics fans are out there? I absolutely loved this Greatest Hits. I think I have to say there's probably a lot of Greatest Hits because there were a lot of artists I loved, and although I would have loved to explore their music fully in some albums, the Greatest Hits I already knew and loved, so I went with that. Plus, we're talking 20, 30 years ago. So I was like a teenager, 16, 17, 18. So to me, this was like my music growing up. And maybe it was already vintage in the 90s. Who knows? All right, on to the next CD. Yes, one of my favorite bands, the Spice Girls. Oh my gosh, yes, I am a Spice Girls fan. It's like one of my little secrets. And this is the Too Much album. So when I want to know, I don't remember, I might have been like 22 or 23. And my friends threw me a surprise party, and it was a Spice Girl themed party. So this CD was one of the gifts. And one of my friends was a teacher and had the class draw me a poster of the Spice Girls. And it was really cute. It was so sweet. All of my friends drew their own Spice Girl on the poster. I wish I still had it. And yeah, this was one of the gifts. Too Much. I worked at a summer camp too at one point, and I remember we did some sort of performance where I think I was my t-shirt said like Old Spice or something. It was really funny. Anyway, so that is that. There's my secret. I love, love, love the Spice Girls. This was a gift from my surprise 22nd or 23rd birthday in 1990, blah, 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 maybe 97, 98. I don't remember. But yeah, on to the next. Yes, I told you there were tons of greatest hits here. And I've got Chicago's greatest hits from 1982 to 1989. And I remember I mean I've always kind of had a lot of trouble sleeping. And I would play this CD, this album when I was trying to sleep, and it's so melodic that I would just drift right off to sleep. So hard to say I'm sorry, look away, stay the night, will you still love me? Love me tomorrow. What kind of man would I be? You're the inspiration. I don't want to live without your love. Hard habit to break. Along comes a woman, if she would have been faithful, and we can last forever. And I used to hear this in my dreams. And if you want to get some good sleep, seriously, this is great music to just really relax you to. I think I would put it on maybe for an hour and then not leave it on all night. I don't remember how I did that, but I remember I had some kind of a timer. I don't know. Anyway, I used to love falling asleep to this music. I still love this music. I would love to see them play. Anyone out there who's a Chicago lover, who's a Chicago fan? All right, let's see what else I got here. Let's see. Yes. All right. So we're going to pop into the 90s with Hole. Live Through This. I was hoping that that was in this pile because this was my like in between senior year of high school, freshman year of college, maybe. So like 94, 94, 95. It was 94 because this album came out right very, very shortly, I believe, after Kurt Cobain was gone. So anyway, yeah. So we've got Violet, Miss World, Plump, Asking for It, Jennifer's Body, Doll Parts, Credit in the Straight World, After Softest, She Walks on Me. I think I would, you know what, Gutless, and Rockstar. Now, I know there was a documentary out that I either rented it from Blockbuster. I think it was a rental from Blockbuster called Kurt and Courtney, and it like made Courtney look like she might have had something to do with what happened to Kurt. I don't know. It wasn't convincing enough to me, but people had said about her putting this album out that it was like sending a message, whatever. I don't know. I found it cathartic. I found it healing. I've always loved this album. What do you guys think? Whole, Live Through This, controversial, not controversial, awesome album. Where do you rank any of these albums that I've named so far, by year, by decade? All right, on to the next. Oh, yeah. I've got Tracy Chapman, New Beginning, and she just recently made an appearance at the Grammys, right? It was with Jelly Roll, and they did Fast Car, and it was beautiful. It was amazing, and all of her music is absolutely just great. I love it. So we've got Heaven's Here on Earth, New Beginning, Smoke and Ashes, Cold Feet, At This Point in My Life, The Promise, The Grape of the World, Tell It Like It Is, Give Me One Reason, Remember the Tin Man, and I'm Ready. So Fast Car is not on this one, but I always loved the cover of this album because if you remember in the 90s, sunflowers were everywhere. Sunflowers were so in. They were just dresses, umbrellas, what were they, backsplashes, those little the wallpaper backsplash. They had everything. Everything was a sunflower. But I did love this album cover, still do. All right, let's see what else is in the pile. What's in the pile? Yes. Foo Fighters. This is great. So, of course, after Kurt Cobain was gone from the world, we got the Foo Fighters because Dave Grohl had to keep rocking. Very happy about that. It's This Is a Call, I'll Stick Around, Big Me, Alone and Easy Target, Good Grief, Floaty, Weenie Weenie, George, For the Cows, Ecstatic, Watershed, and Exhausted. I love this album cover. Yeah, I mean, this was playing nonstop, I think. I had a little portable CD player. I'm hoping it's still around somewhere because I don't have anything to play these on. And I do have a new record player, but I don't have a CD player. And have all these CDs going to waste. Anyone, Foo Fighters fans? No? Yes? Let me know. Let's see what's next in the pile. What do we got here? I'm just going to pick up a bunch. Ooh, all right. I've got 10,000 Maniacs MTV Unplugged. Do you guys remember this? Unplugged on MTV was one of the best things. Like, if they're going to bring back something, if they're not going to bring back music and VJs, which I fully believe that they should, I would love to see them bring back MTV Unplugged, because who doesn't want to see live performances? And, you know, the great thing is we've got all these musicians. It's concert season right now. And I'm about to go see the Outlaw Festival with, well, hopefully Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, Robert Plant, and Alison Krauss. And Willie Nelson has been canceling some shows. I've seen him already once, so, you know, I'm going to wear my Willie t-shirt for him anyway. It would be great to see Unplugged because MTV could just go to them. What do you think? Do you agree, disagree? Would you like to see MTV Unplugged back? So 10,000 Maniacs. Oh, I love them so much. We've got These Are Days, Eat for Two, Candy Everybody Wants, I'm Not the Man, Don't Talk, Hey Jack, Crack, What's the Matter Here, Gold Rush Brides, Like the Weather, Trouble Me, Jezebel Because the Night, Stockton, Gala Days, and Noah's Dove. Who's a 10,000 Maniacs fan like me? All right, let's see what else is in the pile. This is fun. Well, it's fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for you, but it's fun for me. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is a soundtrack to one of my all-time favorite movies, Reality Bites. And I mean, there's so many great artists on here. So this was starring Winona Ryder, Ethan Hawke, and Ben Stiller, and of course, Janine Garofalo. And I know there are others. I'm blanking right now. But on this album alone, and this is the original motion picture soundtrack of Reality Bites, we've got Lenny Kravitz, the Juliana Hatfields, 3, U2, Crowded House, World Party, Dinosaur Jr., the Posies, Squeeze, The Knack, the Indians, Lisa Loeb and 9 Stories, Ethan Hawke, Me Pie Me, and Big Mountain. Do you guys remember this movie? Do you guys love this movie? I mean, this is one of the best soundtracks. We've got My Sharona, Spin the Bottle, Bed of Roses, When You Come Back to Me, Going, Going, Gone, Stay, All I Want Is You. Remember that scene? That was such a great scene in the movie. Locked Out, Spinning Around Over You, still one of my favorite songs. I think that Reality Bites made me a bigger Lenny Kravitz fan than I already was with his music. And then Ethan Hawke did I'm Nothing, got Turnip Farm, Revival, Tempted, Baby, I Love Your Way. I also think I had this movie on DVD, but it might be in this box. We'll see. I don't think that they were together. I didn't keep anything together too good, but they're in pretty good condition. Reality Bites, love it, don't love it, fan, not fan. Do you think it's one of the greatest soundtracks? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else I have in the pile. I'm running out of room. I'm running out of room for everything. And okay, there we go. My shoulder's killing me because I got frozen shoulder. All right. So this is one of my favorite alternative bands and also one of my favorite videos of all time, because this is when MTV still had videos. But this is not the album that my favorite video from this band is from, but this is Weezer, Pink Triangle. I love Weezer. They are playing Madison Square Garden on September 11th, which I think is a really weird day to play New York City. Maybe their tour managers weren't thinking about that. Would have loved to see them, but not on that day. So I absolutely love this album. It's got Jamie, My Name is Jonas, Live, Surf Wax America Live, The Good Life, Waiting on You, I Just Threw Out My Dreams, Michael and Carly, Suzanne, The World Has Turned and Left Me Here, Buddy Holly, In the Garage, The Sweater Song, The Good Life Acoustic, Pink Triangle Acoustic, No One Else Acoustic, and Jamie Acoustic. And I actually think that this is not a store-bought CD. This was a gift. Instead of a mixtape, you could burn CDs, and this even has a photocopied, printed picture of the album, and it was totally a gift from a friend, and that's really cool that I still have this mixed CD. So now I have only a couple of jackets here. I have no idea where the CDs are. Maybe I'll find them in the box, but talking about greatest hits, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, greatest hits. Speaking of heartbreaking, I was heartbroken when he passed away. He was one of my absolute favorites, and I'm so sad that I never got to see him in concert. I did try a couple times. It never worked out. Are you guys Tom Petty fans? So what are your feelings on all of his songs? Because he had some great videos as well. Don't Come Around Here No More with the whole Alice in Wonderland theme. Free Fallin', great video too. I think I just really miss videos on MTV. So MTV, if you're listening, if you ever hear this, definitely bring back some videos. Bring back Unplugged. Bring back some VJs. That's my dog. Something made her mad. Oh, that's so funny. Bring back all of that stuff, and you will have the Gen X crowd and probably a lot of Zillennials and millennials like glued to the TV. I know I would definitely watch. Pardon me for a moment. I have to take a sip of my iced tea. Allergies dry in the studio. Thank you for your patience. So I actually have the jacket here to Outcast. I'm assuming that Columbia House was still, I don't know, still in business. I don't know. I don't remember buying this one, but here is just the jacket for Outcast. You guys love them? I love them. I think they're great. And then I've got a blank one here, which might be a bunch of songs from the movie La Vita è Bella, Life is Beautiful. That was in here. The back of it is missing. Again, this is a handmade cover, so I'll just have to listen to that one day, and we'll have a listening party of my DVDs, my CDs. Maybe we'll have somebody needs to have like a watch party of like their old DVDs or Blu-rays, but maybe we'll have a listening party of my CDs. So another original movie soundtrack, one of my absolute favorites, and I went through a phase, you guys, of disco. It's Saturday Night Fever. This actually still has plastic on it. So I don't know how old this is. I'm going to assume that I made it one of my choices from Columbia House at some point, but it's never been opened. It's got a little tear in the plastic, but other than that, I have a copy of Saturday Night Fever original soundtrack never opened. Interesting. All right, I'm going to reach into the pile and grab a few more. Let's see. Let's see. What have I got? Such things, such things. Yeah. All right, like I said, I went through a phase. Here's Disco Fever Volume 3. But what I do remember is in the mid to late 90s, I was working at a lot of day camps, and I would do a lot of theater and dance with kids. And sometimes teaching them the hustle was part of what I did because it was something interesting for them to learn. And they all seemed to like a disco beat. So Disco Fever Volume 3. I don't have the case to tell me what songs are on it. Maybe I'll find it. You guys, here we go. Monster ballads, okay? Because we're all 80s girls or boys deep down, all us Gen Xers. And I love this because on the back of the album, it's got a woman's hand with a lit lighter, like we used to be able to do at concerts. So I wonder, is the CD still in here? Because I do remember listening to it. No, the CD is not in here. So Monster Ballads might be in the box somewhere, but it's not in the case. But it would have been Heaven Warrant, Something to Believe in, Poison, High Enough, Damn Yankees, Almost Paradise, Mike Reno and Ann Wilson, This Is Love, White Snake, To Be With You, Mr. Big, Carrie, Europe, You Don't Know What It's Got Till It's Gone, Cinderella, More Than Words, Extreme, Headed for Heartbreak, Winger, When I Look Into Your Eyes, Firehouse, Wind of Change, Scorpions, I'll Never Let You Go, Steelheart, When I See You Smile, Bad English, Don't Close Your Eyes, Kicks, and When I'm With You, Sheriff. And now I'm really sad that the CD is not in the case. Who has a favorite song out of that, a favorite memory? Who slow danced to those at the prom or homecoming or whatever? My goodness. Here it is, the original Weezer with My Name is Jonas, No One Else. This is the Blue Album. The World Has Turned and Left Me Here, Buddy Holly, Undone, the Sweater Song, Surf Wax, America, Say It Ain't So, In the Garage, Holiday, and Only in Dreams. Are you guys Weezer fans? Because clearly you can see I am. So when I was saying one of my favorite videos is from this band, and it's Buddy Holly because they did the whole Happy Days thing and the Fonz was in it. And I just thought that was absolutely fantastic. More motion picture soundtrack. Titanic. I remember seeing this in the movie theater. It was cold out. I think it was like winter when this came out. And it was like a daytime show. I don't know why I remember it so clearly, probably because the movie was hours and hours and hours long. And we knew the ship was going to sink. But anyway, I have here the soundtrack. Does anyone have this soundtrack? It's basically a bunch of sad songs, and My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. We all know it. All right. Funny. Ooh, all right. I have No Doubt. I also remember ordering this from Columbia House. I was specifically looking for No Doubt and hoping that they had it. And here it is. So we know all about all their great songs: Spiderweb, Excuse Me Just a Girl, Happy Now, Different People, Hey You, The Climb, 16, Sunday Morning, Don't Speak, You Can Do It, World Go Round, End on This, and Tragic Kingdom. I loved this album cover. That was one of the main things about like CDs and records and even cassette tapes. It was what was on the cover, because the cooler the album cover, the more you wanted it. And I thought that this was great with the oranges and Anaheim and her red dress and all that good stuff. All right. Moving on. What do we have? I've got Corn, and it's missing. My Corn album is missing. Life is Peachy, Twist, She Lost Swallow, Something Creep. Good God, Mr. Rogers. Yeah, it's got everything here but the CD. So clearly the good ones I have lost, maybe, like the really, really good music. I don't know. Who's a Corn fan? All right, what else do I have? I've got The Offspring. Oh, I didn't know I had The Offspring. I don't remember choosing this one, but I've got The Offspring. So this is too small to read, and I can't find my reading glasses anywhere. But they've got Self-Esteem and It'll Be a Long Time, What Happened to You, So Alone, Smash. We know them all. Great album. I just found The Case, to Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Again, the CD is gone. So clearly I don't have the CD collection I actually thought I had. Is The Offspring in here? Yes, it is. Well, that's good. All right, I've got System of a Down, Toxicity. Who's the System of a Down fan? I've got some good stuff. We've got Prison Song, Needles, Dear Dance, Jet Pilot X, Chop Suey Bounce, Forest, ATWA, Science, Shimmy, Toxicity, Psycho, and Aerials. So I love this album. I love that they took the Hollywood sign idea and that was their album cover. You know, that was the thing. The album covers back in the day were so like artistic. They stood out. They really did. All right, let's go for a few more. Let's see. Hmm. What do I have? Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, I'll make you laugh. I have a bootleg copy of Hereafter with Matt Damon. Probably says FBI warning right at the beginning. I don't know where this came from, but I have it. All right, what else? What else do I have? My goodness. Okay. Another mixed CD. It's Terrence Trent D'Arby. So I've told a story about how I wanted to go see Prince in 1985 and I couldn't. So the first concert that I got to was at Jones Beach Nikon Theaters, which is what they call it now. We just called it Jones. And it was Duran Duran with their 90s album. Terrence Trent D'Arby was the opening act. And I have to say, as a live act, he was incredible. His voice was amazing. And on this is Succumb to Me, Do You Love Me Like You Say, She Kissed Me, Wishing Well, Sign Your Name. I love that song. I love both of those. Wishing Well and Sign Your Name. If You Let Me Stay, Baby Let Me Share My Love, Can I Help You Please, Turn the Page, Castilian Blue. So this is really cool because this is just a mix of some of Terrence Trent D'Arby's favorites. No, not favorites. What do you call them? Best hits, not favorite hits. All right, what else? What else? What else? I have Creed, My Own Prison. Again, I do not remember getting this one, and it still has some of the tape on it. And the CD is still in there. So we know Creed. Is anyone out there a Creed fan? And this album doesn't have the famous song, My Sacrifice, on it. So interesting. Sometimes I think I just picked things out just to get them. I don't know. I don't know. All right, I've got Aerosmith Gems, and I believe that I have Toys in the Attic in this pile too. I'm looking right now. I know it's in here, but it's not in this pile. But Toys in the Attic Gems, obviously, it was out on vinyl first. Rats in the Cellar, Lick and Promise, Chip Away the Stone, No Surprise, Mama Kin, Adam's Apple, Nobody's Fault, Round and Round, Critical Mass, Lord of the Thighs, Jailbait, and Train Kept a Rollin'. So many years ago, I took a road trip with some friends to Boston, and I was determined to find Mama Kin's. And this was before Google existed. And we found it, but it was closed, and there were no shows planned for the time that we were all in Boston. So I did not get to see them perform. And another time I could have gotten to see Aerosmith perform. I just have to get this one hurts. This one hurts my soul. So I lived around the corner from this club called the Lowdown, which was way down in the basement of this like supermarket building. What was a drugstore for many years. And before it was called the Lowdown, it was called Hoops, and it actually had a slide in in the bar. I was in there as a kid. It was the 80s. It was the 90s. Don't ask. Whatever. But one night, I had finished my shift at a local restaurant, literally around the corner from where I lived. And I said, "Hey, everyone," to the friends I was hanging out with, "let's go to the Lowdown." And one friend said, "No, no, I don't want to." It was like $7 cover, which, why not? And I was like, "Come on, I'll even pay your cover." "No, no, no, I don't want to go." And I get to work the next day, and I don't know if anyone else knows this, but my boss said to me, "Hey, you should have come to the Lowdown last night. Aerosmith showed up," because apparently they were doing a tour or a show at Madison Square Garden, and Steven Tyler is from Yonkers and knew about the club, and they went and performed a set, and I did not see it. So it still hurts my soul. It does. So I've got to find Toys in the Attic that's in this pile. I don't seem to see it right now. And I've got Queensryche. My goodness. And speaking of great albums, this like carved totem looking album cover. Let's see if the CD is actually in there. It is. It's the right one too. So we've got 9:28 a.m. IMI, Damaged, Out of Mind, Bridge, Promised Land, Disconnected, Lady Jane, My Global Mind, One More Time, and Someone Else. All right, I've got time for just a few more. And my goodness, talk about greatest hits. I was obsessed for many years. I still do love his music. Billy Joel's Greatest Hits, Volume 1, because apparently there's a Volume 2, and Volume 1 is a double CD. I don't think I ever got Volume 2, but I mean, there's so many songs on here, and I do love all of them. I used to have Billy Joel on cassette in the car too. And, way back when there was no satellite radio and you just couldn't catch a radio signal somewhere, and you didn't want to mess with your radio while you were driving on roads, you didn't know you had your cassettes and then your CDs. But I would just pop in Billy Joel and sing along to whatever roads I was driving down. Good, good memories. Ooh, I have Godsmack here. Who's a Godsmack fan? This is the classic tribal son of the 90s. Remember all the tribal stuff that was in the tribal tattoos, the tribal stick-on tattoos? Ooh, that was a bad fad. I talk bad fads sometimes. I think bad fads of the 90s were those stick-on tattoos and glitter. Remember, everyone was just like putting glitter everywhere for no reason. Still makes me shudder. But on this album, we have Moon Baby, Whatever, Keep Away, Time Bomb, Bad Religion, Immune, Someone in London, Get Up, Get Out, Now or Never, Stress, Situation, and Voodoo. Now I really want my CD player back. And, the model on the cover of this album has the very, very classic 90s brow, which really was a spin-off of the 1930s brow, which was drawn on and very thin, and also 1920s, like late 1920s, they would draw the brows on very, very thin. And, she's got all the piercings and the short, spiky hair. I do love how the 80s fashion that was so individual led to so much of the 90s individualism, even though the 80s was not really a decade that was blended in with other decades. The 90s was a blend of a bunch, but it still was its own, especially with music, grunge and alternative and everything. Look at that, Disco Fever Volume 2. So this is from when I was teaching the kids too. It's got like Staying Alive and Boogie Wonderland and all that stuff, and it's missing. I probably left it in a CD player at some job somewhere, but who knows, it could still be in the bottom of the box. What is this one? I don't even know. This is U2. This is Ah Chung Baby. And I can't even read what the songs are on here, but yeah, I've got a U2 CD. I do not remember ever buying a U2 CD, but obviously I have one. Do we have any diehard U2 fans out there? Because let me think. When did I see them in concert? Again, it was Jones Beach. I have a good memory for concerts. And it was their Pop Mart tour. I don't know if anyone saw the Pop Mart tour, and that was the tour where they had the big martini glass, and they sang, I think they sang New York, New York, and Eye of the Tiger. I don't know why I remember these things. I think it's just that I love seeing bands live so much that I get excited and I remember stuff forever. All right. Another of my favorite bands, and I missed a couple of opportunities to see them recently at Tap Fest at Bethel Woods, but I am seeing the father of the lead singer of this band, which is the Wallflowers. And that would be, I'm seeing Bob Dylan this weekend. It would be Jacob Dylan. So if the Wallflowers ever do go back, I will be there to see them, because I do actually really love One Headlight and all the Marlenas. And I love this album so much. Great stuff. Is anybody out there a Wallflowers fan? Let me know in the comments. And then it's like a single CD of Madonna. How weird. And I think it really had 6 songs on it. The CD itself is gone. It's classic Madonna. Huh. And then the last one I've got in my hands, because I went to school for theater and drama and acting and dance and voice and all that stuff. And I am a musical theater nerd. The first show I ever saw on Broadway was 42nd Street in the early 80s. And I have Cabaret. And I know this is back on Broadway now. It's always being revived. I think it's still at Studio 54. I've had a few friends either get close to being in this show. Who did I know that was in it? Danny Bernstein. Met him. I used to actually live across the street from him, weirdly, across the street from his vacation house. And I don't know if he's on this album. I do love me some Candor and Ebb, though, and I can't read who's in the cast. But is anyone else out there a musical theater nerd who has CDs of original or new Broadway cast recordings? I know that there are plenty more in my collection. So, who's out there and who has been paying attention to all of my CDs? Does anybody have any favorite songs or any stories? I didn't really see a lot of your comments, so I'm going to try to read any. Not too many. Awesome, though. I really do appreciate you guys joining in for all of this unboxing. Let me just see what else. I have a couple more. Hold on, because there's like a pile here. Let's see. My gosh. Amazing, insane amount. And it's literally just a third of the box. And now I don't know what I'm going to do with all of them. And you can hear them falling because there's so many. Do you remember, though, how you used to have like the wall units and they were zigzag shaped, and you would like lay out all of your CDs, or the towers for the CDs? Let's see. Gosh, from when I used to work in the camp, Macarena nonstop. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe I just showed you that live on TikTok here. Okay, I've got 50 Cent in the club. All right. Look at this. Is this Duran Duran? This is Duran Duran. Ordinary World. So there we go. That would have been the album of the first concert with Terence Trent D'Arby. And it's funny that those two CDs were close to each other in the box. But yeah, I remember this concert. I remember it was one of the most beautiful nights to be out under the stars watching a band. There's the back of Disco Fever's case. So this is a CD of a person who is a songwriter and performer. And I have no idea why I have it. I've never opened it. It's all scratched up. I have nothing to do with the record business. That's really funny. So, oh, I have another mixed CD, Foo Fighters. I can't believe I have all of this stuff. For kids, Shop Till You Bop. I have to say, the kid music was something that drove me bananas because the kid version of the adult song would get stuck in my head, and then I would sing that when it would come on the radio, and it would drive me crazy. I've got some funk here. Play that funky music. Get down on it. You sexy thing. Fire. Pick up the pieces. Wow. I do love me some funk. There's Rick James on here. There's the Car Wash. She's a Bad Mama Jamma. That's a great song. So I've got some funk. I have some really weird stuff. This I can't even imagine where this CD came from. It's Clifford Brown with strings. It says disc made in Germany, and I think it's written in some of it's English, some of it's like Japanese or some other symbols. I have no idea where this CD came from. Do you ever have that happen? You have like a collection of CDs, DVDs, books. You know which ones are yours, and then on the other hand, you have no idea like where some of them came from, because that is me. So this one, Eminem. I knew I had an Eminem in here. This is the Eminem show. So this has Curtains Up, Cleaning Out My Closet, Say Goodbye to Hollywood, and all of that. I'm going to have to, now it's download his new album on the 12th, June 12th, it comes out. And tell me what you guys think of his song Houdini. It took me a while. I had to listen to all the lyrics, and you have to kind of speed up your hearing to catch up with him. I couldn't believe he put Sherry Papini in there. I can't. That whole thing is like now immortalized. And I've got Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. Of course, I have Linkin Park. I have to. Another Creed, Human Clay. Is this the one with Arms Wide Open? That's the other song I was thinking of. So I've got Creed. I'm trying to remember if I actually got each and every one of these from Columbia House or if I actually bought some. This is funny. So this is the music, the background music to the song Que Sera Sera, if you know it. And I was supposed to sing it in a show, and I ended up not singing it in a show because it was in a key that was way too high for me, and I sounded like, I don't know, an animal being tortured when I tried to sing it. You can hear my voice is low. It's deep. It's weird. But anyway, I've got Ringo Starr and the All-Star Band, Vertical Man. This album has him walking past Starry Night. It's a bunch of his songs. Vertical Man, Drift Away, I Was Walking, Without Understanding. Anyone out there still listen to Ringo Starr. He hasn't come to Bethel Woods, and it would be nice to have Ringo Starr at Bethel Woods because he's all about peace and love. And I've got the best of Sting, Fields of Gold, 1984 to 1994. So this is a ton of different. It's not The Police, so it's When We Dance, If You Love Somebody Set Them Free, Fields of Gold, Fortress Around Your Heart, good song, If I Ever Lose My Faith in You. I remember this is another album that I used to put on, not to go to sleep, but to take a nap. These songs would just help me kind of drift off into the oblivion. So I'm going to take a moment to thank everyone for tuning in to the live and sign off on the podcast and let you know that more about Columbia House itself will be up on Friday on the pre-recorded Strange Occurrences Part 2, How Generation X Got Their Music Collection. So I'm going to sign off here on the podcast and keep talking to everyone on TikTok. Thank you all so much for joining me. Don't forget to keep all that music alive in your heart, and I will catch you on the next episode. I have a PS for you guys because I love Strange Occurrences so much. Anyone who's heard this podcast, do me a favor and leave a comment about your favorite album or song, and I will look up all the strange stuff that happened revolving around that album or that song. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Strange Occurrences, part of the Reminisce Collective. Love, peace, and hair grease. All right. This is my PS to my podcast because I'm sitting here thinking, because Gen X was the first generation to have student loans, to go to college, to need to be college educated, to go to get the job, to repay the loan, but that never worked out, and blah, blah, blah. So, plus it affected your credit score, which got you lower rates on like the good cars or the good apartments or the houses. And it kind of just messed up a whole bunch of stuff if you were delinquent on it, which when you give a loan to an 18-year-old, like, what are you expecting? But anyway, they didn't learn their lesson because we never paid Columbia House. I mean, how many names were you? That was the whole other thing that I wanted to bring up. How many names did you have for Columbia House? I had at least 6 or 7 different names. I used my name, my sister's name, my mother, my father, like an aunt, a cousin, whatever, like 100 of us lived in the same house for all these CDs to show up. And we never paid. And then they're like, you know what? What's a good idea? Let's give them some loans to go to school. But we never paid for the music. And then Napster. I never did Napster. I'm just saying. And I showed you guys a bootleg version of a movie. We all had those too. And those are in my box there. They're in my box of CDs. So anyway, one more time, I am signing off for Strange Occurrences. Thanks for listening to How Gen X Got Their Music for real this time. Peace out.